Greetings from Dubai and good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us today. I'm Mariam Sayab, Director of Communication at Asian Council of Science Editor, and it's an absolute pleasure to host today's panel discussion. This event is proudly brought to you as part of the Asian Council of Science Editors Capacity Building Program, an initiative dedicated to strengthening knowledge, fostering collaboration, and supporting innovation that comes across the scholarly publishing community. Today's session panel discussion is titled on using AI in peer review, caution, capability, and community input, a topic I would say that sits at the heart of ongoing conversations around trust, technology, and transformation in academic and scholarly publishing. We are thrilled to have a distinguished panel of experts with us today. And to guide today's discussion, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Sven Fon, Director at Asian Council of Science Editors and Managing Director, Reviewer Credits. Sven is a publishing leader and strategic thinker with very extensive global experience, and we're excited to have him navigate today's important conversation ahead. Over to you, Sven.
Thank you so much, Mariam, and good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all of you. I've seen so many places where I've never been in my life, but hopefully we'll be there soon. So hello to Nigeria, to Egypt, to Bangladesh, to India, to Iraq, to the UK, to Pakistan, and I'm stopping here, but have a look at the thread. It's really impressive to see that we can span with this panel such a broad geographical scope, so many different experiences, and also so many different schools of thought and education. So I think it's great to be here today and to discussing artificial intelligence in peer review. And we have quite a broad topic. We have to thank Mayam for setting that up. So we want to discuss with a great panel, really from caution through capability to community input and engagement, and see how peer review is developing. I think it's very timely for us to have the conversation here today already. You know that since 2.5 years or so at least, peer review and artificial intelligence and research integrity are probably the hottest discussed and debated topics in our field. And I think it is no surprise that all people who have been surveyed through all social media channels for Peer Review Week have chosen the topic of rethinking peer review in the AI era just yesterday as a topic. So I think that's great. It's still a little bit of time until Peer Review Week, which is mid-September, September 15th to 19th. So mark your calendars for that. But I think it shows a need and desire for publishers and researchers alike to renegotiate, to discuss basically this field of peer review that is so vital to research integrity. We want to really talk a little bit about the evolving role of AI tools in the peer review process and see how this sits between efficiency, support, effectiveness, and transparency also, and how this all can be done responsibly when it comes to peer review. And we hope that we will have some very tangible takeaways for you as researchers and as members of the publishing process, the publishing enterprise, the global one. Thanks again to the Asian Council of Science Editors for setting this up. And let us start right away so we don't waste more time on my introduction by introducing my great panelists. And I'm doing so in a kind of erratic order, so nothing to be read into this. Let me start with Ashutosh. Ashutosh has spent almost 2 decades in scholarly publishing, taking on various roles, primarily in customer service and business development. He has worked with authors, institutions, and publishers with a significant focus on setting up international businesses and taking them from 0 to 1 in markets such as India, Korea, Saudi Arabia, and India. In his current role as VP of Growth and Strategy at Integra, Ashutosh collaborates with scholarly publishers and societies to support both upstream and downstream workflows. And he will have to explain to us what that means later on with respect to AI. Integra's expertise spans processes such as manuscript screening, research integrity, peer review, and production, leveraging obviously AI-based products alongside human-led services. Ashutosh has a keen interest in the application of AI. I have witnessed that in a number of conversations and how the peer review process can be improved. And he has written several articles in scholarly journals on reviewer fatigue, a big issue, and on AI. Welcome, Ashutosh. Over to Hong. Hong is a senior director of AI product management at Wiley and hence a former colleague, which I always like most to have conversations with, I have to admit, where he designs AI strategy, drives the product roadmap, and leads teams in developing intelligent solutions that automate and enhance research and publishing processes using AI, big data, and cloud technologies. Hong holds a PhD in 3D modeling with AI from Aberystwyth University and an MBA in digital transformation from the University of Oxford. A recognized AI thought leader in the scholarly publishing industry, he articulates the vision, challenges, and opportunities of AI in transforming our field. Hong has been honored with the 2024 APE Award for Innovation here in Berlin, if I may say so. And he has been a scholarly kitchen chef since 2023. He co-chairs ALPSP's AI Special Interest Group and is a member of the STM Future Lab. Hong also serves as a COPE advisor and main contributor to design Wiley's AI principles and lead the development of Wiley's first AI-driven paper mill detection tool, a market-leading integrity solution. And I'm almost done. Welcome, Hong. I'm almost done. Last but not least, Hasib is joining us today. He is a biologist turned development facilitator, and I guess that's part of biology, isn't it? Development, who often introduces himself as a research enthusiast. Over the past 26 years, Hasib has been working for different international environment and development organizations, academic and research institutions, funders, and government agencies in different capacities. Currently, he is an independent consultant in environment, climate change, and research system, and a visiting research fellow at the University of Liberal Arts in Bangladesh, Dhaka. He is a co-chair of Environment and Sustainability Committees of the European Association of Science Editors, sister organization, if you want, to ACSE, an associate editor of Learned Publishing, a journal published with Wiley, where we close another round, I guess, an associate at INASP and Research Consulting Limited, and a chef of the Scholarly Kitchen. Hasib advocates for justice, sustainability, climate action, and resilience of the scholarly publishing ecosystem. And he has a PhD in aquatic ecology from the University of Liverpool in the UK. Welcome, Hasib. And without further ado, let's dive into our topic. I'm really curious to see what you all have to say. And maybe we start a little bit broad, so everybody is being brought on board. And maybe, Hong, to ask you, with respect to peer review, where does AI currently stand? There's so much development happening around AI and around peer review that it is really important for us to understand where we are in the debate.
Right. So thanks. This good question. And I think I think everyone, and especially me, I have seen the AI tools being used across, the different stage during the peer review. It's already being used, widely used. For example, during the screening, phase, is used for the quality and integrity check, and in the review phase and the review phase and the reviewer suggestions and the scope check and etc. And also help the reviewers to the enhance. Not only help reviewers enhance, the report, language enhancement, and enhance the report, draft the report, but also help the editors. Some tools you can see the help editors to summarize this review report and then help them to make the decision, etc. So this is and also the help the reviewers to do the literature, the recommendation, latest, the relevant, the publication to help the reviewer to review the papers. So I think this is not future. So many of these already in the production, being integrated in the editorial workflows at scale.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Hong. And I think something that comes to mind whenever we at Reviewer Credits do surveys of reviewers to understand what they think about AI tools, I think there's still a lot of room for interpretation, maybe misunderstanding in the air. And Ashutosh, I would like to ask you, because we had a conversation not so far ago on this topic. Do you think that these tools that Hong referred to very broadly are augmenting or are they replacing human reviewers in the foreseeable future? So let's not talk about the year 2050, but within the next 5 years, what is your perception? What's your view?
So I agree with a lot of things that Hong mentioned. Currently, AI tools have already started being used at various stages in the editorial and peer review workflow, and many more tools are coming up. And just to list various tools, I'm going to keep it limited to the editorial side. So there is the assessment and screening part, there is the language editing and formatting part, there is reviewer selection, there's reviewer assistance, and there's reviewer training. So AI can be deployed at all of these places, and AI tools can help save manual effort as well as cognitive effort through intelligent augmentation, automation. And I believe these tools are more of an augmentation of human capability. And what is the necessity of these tools at this point? See, the main issue right now facing the scholarly publishing community is that peer review is in a crisis, and it's a crisis on multiple levels. It's an economic crisis. You can think of how it affects career progression and monetary incentives when it comes to researchers. It's also a crisis of capacity and diversity. There's a lot of untapped and untrained reviewers out there. And there's also a crisis of attention. As you know, human attention spans are shrinking. Digital media, instant consumption, videos are getting shorter. And so our attention is being totally dictated by technology. And AI tools are also, in a way, adding to it, because using chat gpt or other kind of tools to do peer review or to write can make us cognitively easy, especially lazy, especially when we offload or outsource entirely to them without any cognitive effort on our part. So this is where I think we need to focus our attention on. We have to identify what are the areas where AI should be used and AI should not be used. And I think there are two types of effort. One is a cognitive effort, and the other is a manual effort. Manual effort is more about the time that is spent in doing something, and cognitive effort is more about paying attention and applying ourselves, our knowledge, human empathy, and so on. We need to try and save cognitive effort where it's not required. Manual effort we should save where it is required, and it can help speed up things and save more time. The idea is to give us mental space so that we can apply the cognitive effort where it is more needed and more required. And I believe that is making meaning out of research, looking at the manuscripts and so on. So I think that is how we should be looking at using AI to help us preserve our attention and time so that we can focus on the tasks that really matter, which are editorial input, peer reviewing the manuscript. And all of this has become more urgent and more necessary because of the increasing scale of publishing. No more can we do peer review simply through human means. We need that support that AI can give us.
Yeah, that's a very, very clear point, Ashutosh, and thanks for making that. Hasib, I recall that I had a few years ago a conversation with Hong at London Book Fair, I believe, over a coffee, and I said, when AI in the broad application was still much younger, and I recall that I said, imagine people would have made full use of Excel and Word and PowerPoint and so on. The world would probably be a very different place. And we have by far not really used that capacity of the technology which is available to all of us, basically on our desktops. So Hasib, I'm tempted to ask you as a biologist as well, because the human factor is so strong in using technology. What's your view on this? Obviously, we are holding ourselves back in some situations for defined reasons and for undefined reasons, right? For ethical concerns, but sometimes only because there is a habit of doing something in a particular way and not the other one. What's your view if you look at AI in peer review, and how do you see us as human beings, if that is possible to say, interact with a new technology that holds so many promises in making things much easier and much faster, and also holds risks?
Yeah, thank you. You have made my what I was going to say as an opening remark quite easier. Because I see peer review and AI in it from a totally different perspective. When you were reading my short bio, I think audience, you got the idea that I'm a researcher. I'm also work in the publishing sector, and naturally I'm a peer reviewer as well, as many of you are. But I think I'm a proponent of 100% AI dependent peer review, not a hybrid. And almost 2 years back, I wrote an article in the Scholarly Kitchen. I will be sharing the link in the chat, because I believe, and I not believe, I know that peer review system is extremely exploitative system, the way it is now, human dependent one. And we can talk about hybrid, doing certain things using AI and remaining others for a human being. I don't think so, because the whole system is fundamentally flawed. Just think about quite a few points have already come up. Just think about the reviewer fatigue. Just think about the lack of recognition. Just think about how preprints a non-peer-reviewed document is being cited in peer-reviewed documents. So you are actually endorsing non-peer-reviewed research, and getting a decision out of it or conclusion out of it. So my idea is, yes, we are not doing enough to make 100% AI-based peer review system. We are doing certain things, how to tackle paper mill, how to tackle certain fraud, plagiarism, but how to make peer review system much, much better by using AI, it is yet to be up to the mark, the effort that we have. I maybe later on I will be sharing the 5 different stages I actually talked about in one of my articles. But I think no, we haven't done enough, and still it is a justice issue for me. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Hasib. And let me add on a question right here, because what really speaks very much, what makes my heart beat faster in this conversation is that peer review is obviously something where a lot of energy goes into of researchers, a lot of knowledge, wisdom, if it is done well. And it is a pretty intransparent process, or rather an invisible process. And the fact that I have a friend who is working here in Germany at the Max Planck Institute, and he says that he on average reviews 2 articles per week. And not only his colleagues, but also his wife frequently ask, so where are you these 12 hours basically a week? Where are you? And he always feels that it's really tough for him to justify putting time into this and not putting it into family life, research, teaching, drinking a beer with friends, whatever it might be, all of these activities that are more visible. So Hasib, what's your view of how technology can probably also help with the visibility of the peer review efforts that researchers undertake?
Yes, I think that has been already been taken care of. And I think lots of effort has been put into that over the last 10 years or so. But I find unless you are monetizing it, that point has already been raised by Ashutosh. Just giving me a badge or certificate, my name, or putting my name as a peer reviewer beside the author's name, all sounds good, but we have been actually doing that. But what does it actually mean? Uh, just let me go a little bit back. When we are talking about peer review, what kind of peer review we are talking about? Single anonymous, double, triple, open, community, post publication? It's such a big arena. So I think recognition is not the issue. Recognition is there and it will be increasing. I wrote a piece on how to give points. Yes, we are volunteers as a peer reviewer. Give me some points, I will accumulate that point and I will be using that, in exchange of where I am supposed to give registration fees. We don't have that. So that's why we are, from a publisher's point of view, we are trying to make peer reviewer as kind of a defender of the galaxy of publishing galaxy, guardian of publishing galaxy. Oh, you are great. You are so good. Just please keep going. Please giving us your service. But the last point I need to make, I sometimes think peer reviewers or peer review system is overrated. Why? Just think of the value of a particular person or particular role will only be appreciated the most when there is a crisis. When a paper is retracted, this is the worst thing that can happen to a paper. Think of how the editors are blamed, the publishers are blamed, the authors are blamed. Have you ever heard that reviewers are blamed? Because they're anonymous. That shows that how peer review is kind of an overrated thing. So yes, we can give them the credit, but once again, I don't know if we can have a vote. How many are for 100% AI dependent peer review in next couple of years? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Hong, sorry,
please go
can
ahead.
I add the several point? Yeah, this is a very interesting topic to me, and I personally think the applying the AI, AI powered the peer review is inevitable, the trend, because the now AI, you can see the AI is starting play as a tool, and then move to the AI called the AI research assistant to assist the researchers to do the many different things. Now and the future is become AI scientist, so it's become smarter and smarter. So it means the research output is speed up. That's the faster. All this research output is become faster and speed up. And it means there's more volume, more submission, more manuscript available. It means that we have to improve the efficiency, effective of the peer review system. So the one way, I think one of the most important way is this, of course, is the stage. So we can break down in the different stage. The first stage, maybe apply the AI to speed up, to improve the certain stage, certain specific tasks during the peer review. So this is why we're doing, the reviewer suggestion, journal suggestions, and language improvement, integrity check. So we can see, based on the all this, the statistics, and then we can see already, for example, on the Profits, the AI's blog. See, already they clearly mentioned based on the statistics, so review cycle have been reduced by 60% with AI. So this is this is a proof. But I think that that we have to think about in the different stage. So currently we focus on the apply AI in the specific task to improve the specific task. In the future, I think the AI could possibly change the whole process of peer review. So at that moment, at that time, maybe the definition of peer review, maybe the change as well. Because currently, so for example, let's see the rec screen let's see the screening. Why currently we have they can only check the for example image manipulation, all this stuff, and the post acceptance. stage. It's because, very time consuming, very costly. So that's why. But with AI, so make it faster, more efficient. So it means all this check can be happened even during the submission, not after the peer review. So this is a good example to show how the AI can change the whole process of peer review as well.
Well, I think, Hong, that's an interesting question, because if you say that it is a costly process, we are certainly looking forward to lower cost for the publishing process once we have all implemented AI. Let's see whether that will materialize. But I want to bring in Ashutosh for a question, because I was struck in one discussion with a colleague lately from the journal Nature, where I learned that Nature launched in 1869, right? We all know that great magazine journal, only introduced peer review in 1967. So that is not like light years ago. I studied history. I can imagine something worse than like 60 years ago or so. So obviously, we have very much accustomed the whole ecosystem of academic publishing to that particular situation, that peer review, a pretty intransparent process, to say the least, compared to technology, is so critical. Now, I'm interested in your position on humanly supervised peer review. Are we supervising the technology and what it does, or are we kind of really improving the process of peer review, which is my personal view significantly, because obviously it has a lot of shortcomings right now, right? We have seen that over the last years. So what's your view? What exactly is that interaction between man and machine in your mind when it comes to AI and peer review?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Sven. So I think let's start with the big picture to put it into context. So human beings, have an innate need to explore and discover, and we've done so for thousands of years. It's part of our nature, part of living. Society needs it for progress and development. And science is that pursuit that helps us move forward, right? Scientists and researchers, in their quest for discovery, they need an outlet where they can share their findings with the peers in the world. And that was the original purpose of scholarly journals, to record and to communicate new knowledge. But now, with the tremendous scale of global research activity, the function of scholarly publishers has expanded. Society and readers, they are now essential stakeholders, as are the researchers. And readers, society, all the stakeholders, they need to be able to find and trust this new knowledge that is being generated at a scale never known before, right? And journals can and must play the crucial role of helping society find knowledge and to be able to trust it. And this is what I believe creates the true value of scholarly publishing today. And this I covered in one of my recent articles on Scholarly Kitchen as well, where I mentioned that gatekeeping is the most important value and the core function of scholarly publishing. And gatekeeping involves both editors and peer reviewers. It's a function that curates relevant and meaningful research within a subject area and ensures that research is verified and trustworthy. So we must view peer review in this light as a critical part of the trusted content curation process. Now, can it be totally outsourced to AI to be able to do this? Which means, in a way, we are looking at commoditizing knowledge. And I think there needs to be a human element involved in it. And that human element brings with it, scholarly intuition. It brings with it empathy, context, which probably AI tools can never have. I do believe that AI can play a role by reducing the number of things for peer reviewers and editors to do, so that they have more time and focus to give on only one important thing, which is the manuscript, the research, its quality, its relevance, and its meaning to the human life and to the world. Right. And which allows a certain artistic freedom of exploration and expression. So I think the editorial and the peer review roles also involve a certain aspect of human expression and fulfillment, right? And that is the part I think that we must preserve, because after all, what's a human being meant for if not to pay attention and find meaning in things, especially in new knowledge, in research? And I believe that part simply cannot go to AI, because not because AI cannot do it, it most certainly can, right? Today we can see it can generate reviews, it has a tremendous memory and reasoning capabilities, and all those things are going to improve. But what does it reduce the whole enterprise to? Who for and what for are we doing all this, right? So that's an existential question that comes with the use of AI in peer review. And I believe the same AI can be used for the purpose of creating the space and the possibility for attention, which can then be used to improve peer review outcomes. So yeah, that is my point of view, that the core part of gatekeeping, which comprises editorial and peer review functions, should remain human and alive. And if we mechanize it completely, it is our loss. And the fact is that the technology is here. It's already being used widely and extensively, and its use is only going to increase in every stage of publishing workflows. So the question for us is, how can we more consciously and purposefully deploy AI at various stages while preserving meaning for ourselves?
Well, I think that was a great statement, and I think we probably all agree. While I love this panel's progressiveness and open-mindedness about the combination of technology and humanity, human elements, I want to, before we open this conversation to the broader group, if you don't mind, because in the end, that's what it's for you participating on this panel all. But what I found really striking lately, I was part of a conversation where a researcher who had, with a research group in California, done an analysis on the last 3 or 5 years of articles published by the top 5 journals in the world in terms of impact factor. They analyzed with a particular AI system how many mistakes the reviewer had made in the past. And they identified that every article, in terms of citations, for example, and so on, every article contained, on average, 2.5 mistakes. So the claims made in the citation were not matching the original article, wrong numbers were cited, all these kinds of things. So we would say a very human thing. Now suddenly there's this technology helping, and I found that really a striking point, because it basically shows that technology can do literature research, for example. Technology can do certain things better, right? Just because it's trained with a vast amount of stuff that no human being can ever read. But obviously, it's an important part of our self-understanding in research as well, of our perception, how we as human beings participate in the process. Hong, I would be interested, and Hasib also, in your views. I find it interesting that we have discussed in the first phase of AI the mistakes, the hallucination that these systems make. And I remember 25 years ago when the internet came about, we had comparable discussions. In one of these conversations about hallucinations, I asked a colleague, so you complain a lot about, I don't know which system it was, ChatGPT, making up this connection, which is logically not correct, but do you really understand the search algorithm of Google, which you trust every day, right? That's what we do. And I guess none of us understands, I don't know whether any of the technology people on the call do, but I don't understand the search algorithm of Google. So Hong, I'm really interested in the vast amounts of articles, submissions, and so on that a publisher like Wiley and also smaller ones process every day, where you are subject to really kind of criminal behavior by a few, right? We are not talking about mistakes, but we are talking about some people who take advantage of the publishing system as it is today, and submit articles just to make money and nothing else than that. So how do you cope with the different elements? Human intervention, speed that is required and that is commercially important, and accuracy. And where do you see peer review in that mix between technology and human beings going?
Right. That's a very good question and also big question.
Indeed.
So
It is
yeah,
big.
I think the first I just build up what the Ashutosh just and Hasib just mentioned. AI first. AI is definitely can argument and facilitate the editors, reviewers' work, but definitely it's not replace because because for me it's two reasons. One is the AI is not 100% accurate, and like the hallucination, like the bias, all this stuff. So we need this. None of the AI model now is 100% accurate, and the future as well. And then the second part is the AI cannot hold responsibility for the for this for authorship for the research cannot hold any responsibility legally. So this is something we want to. That's why when the publisher defines the policy, how the guidelines to help the guidance to help the researchers to introduce researchers how to use AI, generative AI, especially generative AI, the ethically, legally in the research and in the writing. So this is one of the main reasons the AI cannot hold hold any responsibility. That's why AI cannot be the author. It's called authors, etc. So I think this is a very important. Firstly, it's definitely the argument, but not replace. I think that eventually the still editor still own the decision, have to make the informed decision by themselves. So I think this is something. But of course, AI has the many the still have the issues. One of the things is explanation, explainability matters. So editor want to know why for example why reviewer was suggested why this paper has the flagged as the integrity issues. It's not just to give the score 6%, 20%. It doesn't mean anything, but they want to have the real good explanation about why. So this is also the limitation of the AI now. Although there are, there's many researchers actively work on this, how to explain, makes the AI explainable, to how to display, to show how the AI think, how AI have this conclusion, where this from, etc. I think this is something. And regarding your questions, I think let's use research integrity as a example. So the many things we have found, the issues we have detected. Actually, the some is from paper mill. The organization they want to make money, they create the fake, the research papers. But also in many cases is the research just made mistake. So we need to distinguish these two. This is the difference. This is the different. But I think another important things, even I think that, for example, as a publisher, we need to be more proactive to make this transparent, ensure the transparency when AI tools is used, when AI is how we AI used in the manuscript preparation, how we AI used in the during the peer review. The transparency I think is very important. But we need, I think that we should start from the disclosure guidance policy and the training. For example, the Wiley has surveyed more than 5,000 the researchers. We presented results in the last FBF Frankfurt Book Fair. Approximately the 70% of the study participants are looking to publish to get that on the safe and responsible use of AI and to support to avoid its pitfalls. So editors should know when the AI is assisting them, and then when the author should use it in the right way. So I think this is a very, very important. We need the clearly the clear the instruction to help us help the reviewer to use the AI in the in the peer review, help the authors to use in the manuscript submission preparation, etc. So I think this is I'm not sure I fully answer your question, but I hope I can bring some of the useful point. Yeah.
Yeah, that was super helpful. Thanks, Hong. And Hasib, how about you? What's your kind of concluding view, and I guess we are not concluding forever here. But before we open it, because we have tons of questions and comments already, have a look at the panel on the right-hand side of Zoom. But what would you add as a last thought, Hasib?
Sure. The last point I would like to add now, I fully agree how things are moving. We need to balance the human element in the whole process. I fully agree with that. But I think my last point would be we need to speed up in developing or improving the AI to make it as much useful as possible by reducing pressure on human peer reviewer. You may ask where the money will come from because it is so expensive. I was just wondering, we have done the calculation, isn't it, that how much profit margins we are actually enjoying. By we, I mean the publishers. I'm talking about the big ones, not the small ones. So why can't we invest that and expedite improving peer review system, making it more AI friendly? So that would be my last comment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think you're touching on like the unit economics more or less and how they are changing in publishing, right? And I think that's a very interesting question. Also, my personal experience from reviewer credits that many publishers find it hard to invest more into research integrity, even though they speak the whole day about it, and they rather invest into other fields. So I guess we also need to make ourselves honest here in the processes and basically put the money where the mouth is in a lot of the conversations. I've seen a lot of questions coming by. Thank you to the audience for the questions, for the input, for your opinions. I'll try to pick a few to really pick the brains of our audience, of our panel here. There's one from Man Shafiq, which I find really important, which is the issue of foreign languages. Most of us on this call speak now in a language that we didn't learn when we were born, more or less, or shortly thereafter. So AI can be a great help, not only in writing articles, but also in writing review reports, obviously. Ashutosh, what's your opinion here? Do you think this is something where AI can help on a low threshold, basically, and sneak into our processes to help human beings?
Definitely, definitely. I think that's an excellent use case of AI and the one which I most frequently use. See, the idea is that the observation, the insight, the discovery, and the context should be ours. And AI can help us put things into a language, help us overcome language and expression related challenges which non-native English speakers may have. Not only it's not only about being a non-native English speaker, but generally, not everybody is good at communication, right? Expression, written expression, we are not trained to that. It doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. So AI can help with that. The only thing we have to ensure that the original thought, the idea, the context is ours, and we can use AI to help to polish that. So what I do is I write in a stream of consciousness. I just keep writing, and then I use AI to kind of polish it. So these kind of use cases, I think, are good, and then it should also be supported by a careful review by ourselves. So whatever we use AI for, it needs to be reviewed, because most of the times, even though in terms of on the surface, it would look very good, but if we observe very closely, we might notice changes in meaning. So a careful review of the output that AI gives is very important to ensure that it conveys the meaning that we really want to express and convey.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I want to push this a little bit further, Hasib, with you, because I also see it coming up in our stream right now and play devil's advocate. So Wasim, for example, says, I have no trust in AI. It changes the language, expression, and structure. I wouldn't go so far. I would rather say, is AI not a tool to create wanted results? Looking at certain countries in the world right now where we see a kind of new censorship on the expression, for researchers, right, where certain words are forbidden suddenly in publications. I think that's highly critical, and we have seen these cases over the last months already that certain systems started ranting on research questions. What's your view? How do we make sure that not only the review level, but also the objectivity that we expect from the research process is being retained?
Thank you. I think we are talking about only the researchers and peer reviewers and the publisher and the editors. But sometimes I think that are we giving too much responsibility to the peer reviewers? The point I'm trying to make it seems like the authors, they are bound to make mistakes. Interestingly, those authors are finding probably mistakes or shortcomings in others' paper, but they can't write 100% foolproof papers. That's really funny, isn't it? I think peer review system is like a rolling a dice. You don't know who is going to review your paper, and it's totally luck dependent. My paper is in the review now. 10 reviewers rejected. They didn't agree. Editor told me why it is taking 6 months now. So the point I'm trying to make, yes, AI has got so many shortcomings at the moment, but I'm so much optimistic about it. And Hong rightly gave us the pathway that where we are actually heading to. Frankly speaking, I must admit publicly, I don't use AI in writing or anything, because I strongly believe, like Ashutosh, that human element is so important here. That's why I do that, because I believe I have to write my article as a personal journey. It's a personal journey and it has to be shared with the world. But I have to satisfy 3 people, isn't it? The editor and 2 reviewers before millions of people are reading it. I do understand that. And I do understand my language limitations and everything. But still, I believe that certain, my point of view is I find the peer review system exploitative. That's my main. That's why I'm embracing a kind of weak system, which is now still a long way to go, like AI. I'm embracing it because I prefer human more, because the peer review has lost its human face. I have shared another link in the chat box why I'm saying that. Unless we are putting human face in the peer review, you may say, what are you saying, Hasib? Human being are reviewing? No, human being are reviewing just like a machine. So what's wrong bringing in AI? Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And in this context, I have to call out what Maruf just wrote in the panel, saying AI is to ease our work, but not to do our work. It seems that we can all agree on that. That's a great statement, which I might recycle, if you don't mind, in the future for other conversations. Hong, I'm interested because it came up several times in the stream about the economic impact. Obviously, publishers need to invest into peer review, but also publishers are hoping for economic benefits, I guess, out of using AI in peer review and in other processes, not just quality improvements, but also cost efficiencies that go to the bottom line. So is your expectation that AI will change the economics of academic publishing? Do you think that it will make publishing cheaper for institutions, for authors, for anybody?
Yeah, that's a hard question. Indeed, it's a good question. I think that, from the technology perspective, AI is definitely become cheaper and cheaper. You can see, the inference, the cost is dropped it's just is 100%, one, the 100. And then I think this is one way. It's a technology perspective, the reduce cost. And on the other hand, also, with AI, so it can improve productivity. And then it means before maybe every day you can process screen and the review, maybe the 100 papers or something. But now, I mean, the whole peer review system and the company. But maybe in the future you can process screen review the thousands, 100,000, 10,000 papers every day. And well, I think the speed is. I also need to make this clear. Speed is very important, but its quality is even more important. It's not only about how many papers you can process, you can review, but actually is how good they are, how accurate.
I completely agree with you. Usually papers are not being retracted for being slow, but for being false, right, in their statements. And again, I think it's also important to not mix all retraction issues into one. I think we need to retain the element for researchers that they say, I made a mistake. I made a wrong judgment. I need to retract this paper. It can't be a blaming game in each and every case, right? So
Totally.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Totally. I think from the economic perspective, it's definitely to can reduce the cost, but improve the efficiency. But also, I think another perspective is not economic, but it's reputation and the damage. If you like using your examples, if you once the paper is a fake paper has been published, this is a huge damage and a huge waste for the researchers, for institutions, for publishers. So this is something which the AI can protect besides the economic value.
Yeah. Guys, we are up on time. Thank you very much. Mayam is raising her hand already. Let's see what she has to say.
Sven, I just have one quick question regarding use of AI in peer review. We all know that for the whole peer review process, there is like something facilitating at the start and something facilitated at the end of the process. But the core point where the manuscript and reviewer are like one-to-one for evaluating the whole process. Comparing this whole process, there are like different voices from small and medium publishers, and I would say the larger publisher, they won't be in the discussion. So when there is a question of using the paper or using AI to evaluate the proper, uploading it for the whole review, and the biasness and what it comes and what it do and how it do, so these type of misconduct issues, from where these voices are coming, is it that the peer review actual core, it isn't understood by the community well? Because facilitating in the pre and post part, there isn't a problem, it can facilitate the process, but the exact nature, the core of the peer review, when we talk about the soundness and novelty and the relevance of work, there isn't a chance of AI. So from where the voices are coming when it comes to the publisher perspective, like medium ones and the larger ones, are we driving the conversation in a way that taking a hype, adding ideas to the community, and letting AI do the work that it should not?
Probably that's a good question, Ashutosh, for you to address because you have a broad overview of these small, medium, large, right?
Yeah, I think there are several things there, Mariam. I think one is whether the reviewer selection is correct, whether the reviewer that has been approached, he or she is the right reviewer for that particular manuscript, and whether they have the time to do the review. And the other question is, are we investing enough in training reviewers? I don't see a lot of conversations happening there. People are not I think doing a lot. There's a lot more that needs to be done on reviewer training. People, as a reviewer, especially the new reviewers, they may not know what is expected of them, how to do the peer review, how they can use AI tools. And personally of the opinion that peer review should probably happen within a secure environment provided by the publisher with tools to assist the reviewer so that the reviewers don't use any external system for the peer review. Within that secure environment, a gated environment, whatever reasonable assistance can be given, should be given to the reviewers to help to maybe polish the reviewer report, translate. Some other cognitive enhancements can be made, like they can, while reading the manuscript, they can give voice notes, and later on they can structure those voice notes through AI and then review the report generated by AI. So a lot can be done here. And of course, there are the aspects of research integrity as well, which I believe peer reviewers should not be primarily held responsible for. Their job should be to read the paper, to comprehensively digest the paper, get insights, and then use that insights to comment on the paper. If they discover anything is amiss or anything like an integrity issue, they should point it out. But I think the research integrity checks are better done by the editorial teams a little upstream in the workflow. So yeah, that's my point.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Mayam, if I'm not completely misled, we have to close, right? So many unanswered questions. Thank you to a wonderful panel, which has done a great job, not only from me, but I think on behalf of everybody who has been following us today. Thank you for everybody joining this panel, and I wish you all a good evening, a great day, and a relaxing night. Thank you so much from Berlin, and have a great day. Bye.